Hi, I'm David Norris and I'm serving up the perfect podcast, Pompey Platter with Russ, Daz and Haz. Play up, Pompey.
He used to be a waiter, did David Norris. Well, he's served up the perfect cocktail here.
Jarrett back to goal, Lang. Needs a bit of help. Goodness from Lang. What can he do? Still there, Lang. Lang! You wouldn't believe it! Cross comes into the near post. Headers into the net! Shaughnessy! Surely Pompey are heading for the championship! Portsmouth are promoted as League One champions!
Evening, everyone. Welcome to Pompey Patter podcast, episode 20, FA Crap, which, to be honest, really ties in nicely. Not only was the FA Cup game a load of crap, but the FA's fucking officials are a load of crap and all, and that's putting it nicely. As always, joined by Haz and Daz. Evening, boys.
Hello. Good evening. Hello. Hello.
I think we've all got the Scum Man United game on, so if you hear any of us cheer, I expect Man United just scored.
I actually haven't got it on.
Yeah, because you're a secret scummer, really, aren't you?
As I've said, I'm the one that deserves most credit from being born and living around Saints lot and then still coming through and being a Pompey fan. I have more dedication than any of you put together.
That is true.
It's true. But you haven't got the game on, so boo you.
He saw it all and went, fuck that. I'll go Pompey.
To be fair, I would have had it on if, but my television provider, there's a bit of an issue at the moment, so.
Bit of an issue with what?
Just some connection issues, but obviously just like all above board, don't worry about it.
Wink, wink, hush, hush, shush, shush.
Nudge, nudge.
Right. So, Haz, you didn't get to see the Wycombe game. Lucky you.
Just as well. I listened to it on the radio and then I did turn it off.
Yeah. Me and Daz had the unfortunate pleasure of watching the game. I am going to try and make this one as quick as I can because I genuinely think it might be the worst game of football I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
to put it this way, Wycombe was shit as well. It was awful game, but it might be easier to come to you first, Harry. Give us your quick thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think it was going to be a crap game because it was probably both teams didn't probably want to win. Obviously, we're completely focused on staying in the Championship. They're focused on getting promoted, sitting in second place in League One, so they're focused on that. The FA Cup is not their priority this season. Usually it probably would be for a club like Wycombe, but as they're up there, it's not their focus. Listening to it, it didn't sound great from you kind of gauge from the commentators from Andy Moon and from Guy Whittingham. You can kind of gauge on their excitement and their voice and how they come across, and it didn't sound particularly great. And to be honest, I actually, as someone that doesn't normally listen on the radio, I found it really hard to listen because it's really hard. If you're used to it, if you've done it for years and years, it's fine. But I found it really hard to kind of picture what he was saying without actually seeing it as well.
I've never liked listening to on the radio.
And that's nothing against, before people get upset, it's nothing against Andy Moon and Guy Whittingham.
Oh, no.
They are some of the best out there. Because when I watch it on TV, I always try and make sure I've got them on it, on my non-dodgy stick that I've got. God, make it clean and clear, mate. No law breaking.
You use above board VPN and pay for iFollow, or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
The
Pompey Plus.
The Pompey Plus.
That's it.
And pay for each game like every normal human being there is. VPN's illegal.
That's it. You know what? You know it. Because you do the same too. So, but yeah, anyway, getting sidetracked. It was hard to listen to, but I think it was also the reflection of the game because you can tell when the commentators, whether it's Pompey or whatever, you can tell when the commentators are enjoying it because you can hear the excitement in their voices, and it kind of dwindled. I think there's a Friday night it wasn't particularly pleasant to watch. It was cold for the people that were there. That's all I've got to say, really. Just I'm quite glad we're out. I think Messina. I think Messina. Oh, sorry, I know I said I finished. I haven't. When Messina, when Messina said at the end, he's not bothered about being out the FA Cup. It was the way we went out that was the issue. I think that summed it up pretty well, because the team that we played, a lot of them are kind of second string, or are wanting or should be pushing to get into our starting 11. Putting a performance like that on really shows that starting 11 is, as we discussed, is the only. We've got the starting 11 and maybe 3 subs that he trusts, and the rest of them are dog shit, really, and aren't good enough, and he doesn't trust them to put them on. So, yeah.
And that's coming over to you now, Des. We got to watch the game. A lot of players made up my mind that night. There's a few I was humming and ahhing over. Now I'm like, I just don't want to see him anymore, and that's just because it's a tough game, football. It's a harsh reality, and I don't as much as I personally like a player or got nice memories of players. For me now, if we've got to stay up, we've got to get better.
Yeah, a few players didn't do themselves any favours, did they? Really? I mean, we actually started all right in those first I think it was like 5-10 minutes. We had what, 2 chances to score, and I think with the amount of changes you're making,
First 10
you
minutes,
know that the
couldn't get out of their
majority.
half.
Huh?
The
Huh?
first 10 minutes, they were stuck in their half.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, because we've made so many changes, a lot of the players that are coming in, like, it's we know we haven't got the squad. That's why we haven't rotated, and when we have rotated, like Bristol City, we've come unstuck. So, to making that many changes, that means the majority of those players haven't played a lot of football. So it was so important when they were on top in that first 10 minutes, which still is not long enough. They should be on top for majority of the game, in my opinion. They have to score, and then after that, maybe you get a better performance out of them because their confidence grows. But once they get shut out and then they go one down, like confidence can just go all over the place, can't it? But yeah, there was a number of players that didn't do particularly well, or actually didn't do very well at all. And I think quite a few of them won't have any sort of argument to maybe if they do get moved on in January. That they can come back and say, well, I should have been given more of a chance because they were really poor. I mean,
Each time these players have been given an opportunity, away to Bristol City, Millwall in the Cup, the odd appearances here and there, none of them have took it. None of them. Not a single one of them have gone.
No.
Maybe other than Devlin, probably he's the only one that's gone from absolutely nowhere into the team.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not expecting them to have a world-beating performance if they're just coming in and out. But at least you can see something happening. Like with Devlin, like Terry Devlin, he slowly works his way into the team. Then he played really well. Then obviously he's been a bit in and out again. But when he was first coming on, you could kind of see what he was doing and what he wanted to do. Some of these other players, like McIntyre, I know I sort of defended him a little bit when it came to the Derby game, but because I don't think it was just his fault. I think he got too much stick compared to everyone else.
No, he was
But
all he was
he
awful against.
he looks lost. He looks absolutely lost. Like, and when the camera cut to him, I don't know whether it's just his face anyway, but he just looked. You can see on someone's face they're not very confident. I saw that on sort of Yengi's face when we played Preston because was in the South Stand, and you can see it in his face. Confidence is gone, and that McIntyre, I think he's too far gone. I think it didn't help last season the fact that he got injured after like 65 minutes, so he couldn't build up momentum. And then you're asking a player that didn't play much at all last season, or the season before that, to then come in and hit the ground running in the championships like level, and it's just not going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think, excuse me, I don't think I'm going to get that time back watching that game.
Only was if it weren't
was.
for this, I would have turned it off.
I wasn't really paying much attention, to be honest. I was just having it. It's just like you could tell, especially when they went 1 up. I just felt that's it. I can't see us doing anything now, and it was right. I thought maybe we might come out the second half, make a few changes, but again, you're not going to take that risk when it's the FA Cup. It's not high on our agenda. Like, I mean, going to the FA Cup final with Pompey and watching them win it was one of the best days of my life. But obviously, you have to like understand where our priorities are. And it was one of the things I still wanted to go through. Like we said it last week, I wanted to go through because I wanted us to maybe get a Premier League team and stuff like that at home or away.
And I got real mixed emotions. There's a part of me that's the head saying no, just get, if we go through, great, but let's not worry. Put our weak team. Let's just get the game done and over with. Whatever happens. But then my heart was saying, but I want a Premier League team in the next round. So,
yeah, and the thing is, if we were going to go out, that meant we weren't going to play particularly well because you don't go to a team. I know Wycombe are doing well in their league, but still, even with rotation, we should be doing better than we did the other night. Friday night, sorry. But so we're always going to be particularly bad if we were going to go out and lose. But I was hoping to see some individual performances, and especially in that first half, I don't think I saw any. Like even Atkinson, which you can understand because it's his first start, and obviously he came off at half time. But yeah, no one really gave me any sort of confidence.
It was what upset me was never rated Sonny Bradley ever,
No.
and he had Sadie in his pocket. Sadie nothing other than that back heel, which I still don't know why he done that. He should just control turn and found a spot and hit it, and it was gone in.
Yeah.
Getting proven he's not a proven goal scorer. He was in his pocket. Bradley marked him the whole match, made him look like a nothing player. I thought Paddy Lane, again, other than his early chance, was in the right back's pocket all game. Did the thing. For Moxon struggled. Kamara got a lot of flack, but I thought Kamara did all right. He weren't, don't get me wrong. He wasn't amazing. He wasn't brilliant.
No.
But he weren't as bad as I thought. Moxon had a really bad game. I thought Lane had a really bad game. Sadie had a really bad game.
But that's what I'm saying. What I was saying about I don't expect any of those players to be well beaters on that night because if they're not actually just say that once of Paddy Lane and stuff people like that, I do expect them to be a better performer because they've played enough games. Kamara has barely played anything, so you can't expect him to come in and like run the show like Yaya Toure or stuff like that. But he I saw glimpses there, but I just think he just came and it's because of, in my mind, it's because of obviously the whole rumor about how much he came there for, and then you have a certain group of the fan base that want to like sort of pick at everything, like prize obviously what the Isers get up to and what they do and don't put in. So I think Kamara is sort of the poster boy for that kind of cheap sort of thing, which I don't think he's not a cheap buy in my opinion. But because he didn't play particularly well, some people have jumped on that and sort of said he's crap, he's this, that, and the other, which I just think is really unfair.
Yeah, it was. That was the baffling one, considering so many players had worse games. Going to quickly run through the goals. I don't know, Harry, if you've seen or even bothered to watch the goals. First goal was kind of like one of them. How on earth has this sort of gone in? I can't remember who lost his man. Someone lost their man. Atkinson had to come over. Got kind of unlucky, I felt, with that's one of them. He makes a tackle, it hits their player and goes out for a goal kick, and then it happened to perfectly bounce straight back to their player. Archer decided to dive before the player even kicked the ball, and allowed him just to hit the ball in the net. I'm trying to think who originally lost. Who played left back? Oh, it was Williams.
Williams.
Absolutely caught out of position. He was another one, awful. I know he's not playing in the right position, but he could at least put a shift in. He didn't. And then the second goal, whoever's idea it was to put Devlin man marking Sonny Bradley, needs her head wobbled.
Thing is, I think it's one of those things. Again, I don't know for definite, but obviously I know we set up like zonal, don't we? a bit, well, partly zonal, partly picking up from corners, and it's probably they work on that sort of area again. So they probably put certain players in certain positions, and that's just where Devlin was meant to be, which is not ideal in the long run because obviously Devlin was put up against Sonny Bradley. But again, I don't think they're even man marking. I think they're just holding the position and then
It was just,
that's got to change.
deal with it.
That's got to change, isn't it? Because it happened against Derby as well, and I know it was Devlin again. So, but again, he's an inexperienced, or not inexperienced, but he hasn't got a lot of experience at this level, and he was left to mark Cashin at the Derby game, and he struggled with that and let Cashin go. But it's because we're doing half and half zonal and man marking. Just do one. Just do one or the other.
I think we because Devlin's actually pretty decent in the air for his height.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between intercepting a header than trying to outstrength a much bigger player. Like Bradley
Don't forget, he wins a lot when there's a goal. When from goal kicks and long balls up during open play, he wins a lot of headers. But that's probably also because he's
and anticipation.
Yeah, and also he can see the whole map. He can see everyone. He can see and a lot of the time they're wingers that are in front of him. Naturally, it's going to be a winger because he's the fullback. So he can see them in front of him. He can see everything that's going on. He's not going to get blindsided by a run or anything like that. So, but from a corner, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm never a lover of zonal marking or half zonal marking. It should always be man to man.
I think
you just should have been marking Bradley. It's simple as that.
Well, the thing is, I liked what we did last season when it looked like everyone pretty much picked up, apart from Raggett, and Raggett was free in the centre of our 8-yard box to deal with everything. So he was free to just go and win the ball, and most of the time he went and won it. So that's if you'd have to ask the sort of coaching staff if that's what they did, but that's what it looked like last season. That everyone marked. But
the thing is, I can't really remember many set plays or corners that we've conceded from. So it's not a massive issue. It's not like, oh my God, we conceded another corner. We've seen. I mean, it was just one of them things at the time. You just sort of thought, why on earth is Devlin the one marking Bradley?
And it's against teams that you probably would maybe expect to concede goals from set pieces from, like a Derby, like obviously Wycombe. Derby and Wycombe obviously had the same player. Like he didn't score for Derby, but one of the same players were playing at the back. So they're the sort of. But you don't get many of those teams in the Championship. You know what I mean? It's the majority of teams play a similar way. They don't play the Paul Warne way much anymore.
No. Right, so unless there's anything else either of you want to say on the Wycombe game, I'm happy to forget about it that it ever even existed.
Yeah, what game?
Right, now moving on to last night, which, for me, and I know for you, Daz, I don't know if Harry's changed his mind a little bit. For me, that was all on the ref. As much as this moment the players should have done this, should have done that. The ref should have gave us a penalty twice.
3 times really, because even the first one when Lang was taken out, Bishop was then fouled after that. So we had 2 chances for that penalty.
And so I work. There's one of our ladies I work with. She's from Blackburn. She's not a massive football fan. She understands. She knows football. She always keeps an eye out for Blackburn. She watched the game because it was against Pompey, and even she didn't want to talk to me because the first thing she said is, "I'm really sorry about that ref last night," and that's coming from someone who's not a massive football fan. You know what I mean? It's diabolical. It's not good enough. And what annoys me and angers me that refs don't get called up on it. He'll probably put ref the Premier League on Saturday.
But also the thing is that if Messino's probably going to get fined for his comments now. It's like, so I understand they don't want you to like completely go after the referee and like turn it into a slaughter match against the ref. but managers should be able to criticise them. They shouldn't have to not abuse them. But if that was how it went, then yeah, you can fine them. But they should be able to say, yeah, the referee was bad or had a bad game today. They should be allowed to say that without worrying that they're going to get fined, because that's just basically, you can't say anything about the referee. And that was one of the worst refereeing performances I think I've ever seen, just because it's blatantly obvious. The two penalties were blatantly obvious. They were two of the clearest penalties you could probably find, yet neither were given. And their third goal, Delino, I think the big guy, he was offside. And I think was it Gay up front that it came on?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was offside, and it was a good couple yards. So how he's not seen that, I don't. It's all round just crap, really.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I missed the first half because on a Wednesday I coached my son's football team. Don't get home till about 8:30, so didn't see any of the first half. As I put it on, it literally blew for half time. Harry, do you want to just take us through? My understanding is they started off strong, Blackburn, but as the half went on, we kind of grew into it, and maybe even could have gone in 1-0 up ourselves.
Yeah, that was it. Really, it was kind of the first 10-15 minutes. Again, we started really sluggish, and Blackburn were definitely on top. And you're probably there thinking, "Here we go," waiting for that early goal to concede. And Andre Weimann had a couple of chances. He skied one over the bar, which he easily should have put on target. He probably had a bit more time than he thought. He could have taken a touch and probably run into the box rather than shoot straight away. But we managed to ride the storm, which we haven't been able to really do away from home for quite a while. So that was a kind of positive that you could take from it. That was the fact that we managed to get to half time at 0-0. And obviously Bishop hit the crossbar in the first half as well. Again, he probably should score as well, to be honest. It was unfortunate, but again, maybe had a little bit more time than he thought. It was kind of rushed and kind of quickly kind of poked at it, and it hit the crossbar. But it wasn't a particularly pretty game. Even the second half, it wasn't exactly good football. But I don't expect good football away from home because of how we've been. You just be sluggish and not sluggish. Just be hard to beat. Bring down your man when you need to. Little fouls here, break up the play, and stop the rot away from home. Really, and I thought we did that pretty well in the first half.
Yeah. I messaged you boys saying how's it going? You both feel a bit slow, but then we started to come into it. But for me, Bishop should have buried that really, but it is what it is. He said he probably did come at him a bit quick, but if you would probably bet a lot of money that's the guy. I'd love to know what the XG was on that. Probably very high. So we go in 0-0 at half time. For me, came out looking like the better team. I don't know how you felt, Daz, for the first 15 minutes, and then
we did.
Bishop got literally shoved to the ground, and the referee decided to ignore it.
Yeah, we did. We came out and started pretty well. We carried on from how we left the end of the first half, I think, to be honest. And yeah, up to the point they scored their first goal, it was a really good, in my eyes, it was a good away performance. But where we are in the league and where Blackburn are, they're always going to have a little flurry at the very start, but we sort of grew into the game, as Harry said earlier. But yeah, that penalty is. I don't mind refs get stuff wrong. I don't mind because everyone we can't slate our players or not slate them for making certain mistakes if we then can or cannot slate refs for their mistakes. But when you've got something so clear cut that he's not looking at the ball, if the Blackburn player was behind Bishop and put his hands on him, I wouldn't have an issue with that. As in them not calling the penalty, but the fact that Bishop's facing the ball, the defender, I think is it Bath or Bath, I think they call him. is facing Bishop, puts both his hands out and pushes them over. It's just I can't understand how. I could maybe think maybe the ref might, if the ref's right behind the defender, he might not see the arms out. But that's no excuse for the linesman. The linesman can see him with his hands out and pushing him over. So I don't understand how that's not given as a penalty. When I first saw it, I thought that looks iffy, and then when the replay happened, I was like,
I was
how
off.
did
I
the
was off
ref
my
not?
sofa. I was shouting
Yeah,
at
I
the
mean,
TV. How was that not a pen?
it's not even Slido, is it? It's not like something behind players, and you know, like from a corner, everyone's jostling and grabbing.
Well,
Like
as
that just
you
happened.
know, so I managed to watch it luckily with Moon and Whittingham as the commentator, and obviously they've got their advantage. You know, they don't. You know, they'd seen it live in the stadium, and they were both gobsmacked. Absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah.
They could not believe that wasn't a penalty. They said it was the most blatant penalty you'll see, and they're right. So, you know, everyone saw it, but the referee.
Yeah, and obviously what led on to that. I mean, I know that was like minutes. It was minutes later rather than the second goal, which happened straight away afterwards. So as we were discussing last night, yeah, like, I think we could have done a lot better in stopping that goal, their first goal. I mean, the right back has too long on the ball to be like, and no pressure whatsoever. No one goes over to get his head down. He's then able to pick out Gay at the back post, which I mean, there's a good header. It's down. Whether Schmidt can do better or not is like another thing. I'm not a keeper, so it's like it's easy for me to.
That when it happened, because I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys, I felt like the camera angle wasn't the best when it was far over the other side.
Yeah, when they first scored, I was like, how have they scored that?
I genuinely thought he headed it, hit pack, and went in. I thought there's no way that's just gone straight in. It's impossible. Do you know what I mean? There's no way that's got past Schmidt. And then watching the replay, I was like, that's just gone past Schmidt. What is he doing?
I think Schmidt didn't have one of his best games last night, in my opinion. I think his kicking was quite a bit off, and stuff like that. But I mean, that's fine. He's done well.
As I said, I was just going to go on to that. As I said last night, okay, he didn't have a great game, but you think I just constantly flash back to that save against Swansea away and how many times he's saved us those one-on-ones that he's had at the front in front of the fratted end and stuff. And
every player has a bad game, no matter how good they are.
Yeah, and exactly, and the fact he's been so consistent as well, or consistently good. Yeah. The fact that he has one bad game, that's totally fine as long as it doesn't become a run, which I don't think it will. The only thing I can think of really for that goal was the fact that it was he managed to get, because it was a really weird cross because it was really high and loopy. There wasn't really any.
Sorry, how the hell Scum didn't just score?
Oh, I've no idea.
A mental double save.
I know, and that's Onana. That's saying something as well. But sorry, you really thrown me off there.
Sorry, I was gobsmacked. I was just about to go, oh, Scum has scored.
Really chucked me. What was I saying? Yeah, there was a really loopy cross, and there wasn't really any conviction on it as such because it was so high. But Gay managed to get a lot of power on it, and I don't think Schmidt really expected either him to shoot or it to be that quick. So he didn't have enough time to be able to react because by the time he did, it was already underneath him and had gone in.
For me, he was one step to the right too far. That mate, if he took one step, his starting position should have been one more step to the left, and that just would have gone at him. I mean, and I think, and I kind of defend the defenders in a way, because one of them where you go, you ain't scoring that past him. Go on then, waste your time. I mean, and they probably, I bet Pack and who was right back last night, it's gone out of my head.
Swanson.
Probably thought, I wouldn't be shocked if that's what went through their head of, you're not scoring that. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like I used to always say when I was in goal to people, if someone wants to shoot 30 yards away, let them, I'll save it. And if I don't save it, that's on me. Do you know what I mean? So I always say, don't block, because that's when it goes in. Just let them shoot.
Yeah, that's it. I think with Schmidt, I think I personally think he's either thought that Gay was going to go near post because from the angle it was that, or he was going to head it back across. And obviously he's caught him right in the middle, and he's just sort of. I mean, you're always told when you're attacking a ball, head it down. And so it bounced at an awkward place for Schmidt as well to deal with, didn't it? So I mean, I don't think we should take away how good the header was.
No,
It was
no.
good header.
I cannot. When he crossed that ball, I never went, "Oh God!"
Yeah.
Like I was just like, meh. Then when it went in, I thought it had to have hit Pack. Couldn't believe the replay. It's just one of them. I think a bit of the defenders probably were that confident that Schmidt would save it that they would be like, "Well, go on then, waste your time." And then Schmidt just got his positioning wrong. And I reckon he'd happily hold his hands up with that and say, "Yeah, I should have been stood one." You know, he should have shown his inside a bit more because he's more likely to save that side than he is his far.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And then obviously that then led on to the second two penalties we should have got in one go. And again, I think the Lang one is more obvious than the first Bishop one. And I know there was potentially another foul on Bishop when he's trying to head it.
100%.
And it has got cleared off the floor. I saw apparently Messino in the interview, and he said that I can't remember if he was saying the ref had said it, but apparently the ref had just thought it was just
the liner went.
The liner
gave it, didn't he? And then the ref.
The liner gave the penalty. Yeah. The ref played the advantage because of Bishop's header, but Bishop would have scored if he hadn't been dragged to the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've all gone all over the place, haven't they? They're a bit like the ref has anyway. But apparently, Messino said that the ref has said he thought it was more of a coming together, so he let the play run.
And this is what's annoying. And I saw this and I hate. You know what? I'm going to call out some fans. It's always the same ones as well. As soon as anything's given against us or doesn't happen for us, they always stick up for the referee. And I do not know why they do that. That's never a penalty. Or it's a coming together. Are you having a laugh? If a defender missed a ball trying to kick it and took a player out, it's a penalty. It's no different if it's a goalkeeper. The goalie came for the ball, he completely missed it and took Lang out. Penalty.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I could understand in tight of sometimes there's 50-50s where sometimes you get it going your way or not. I could understand if they defend it there. But there's no defending any of the officials this time in this game.
All three were penalties.
All three were
to
penalties.
The point where
the offside was offside. The fact that nothing was given our way it is atrocious.
I tell if the keeper gets to the ball before Lang and maybe touches it around Lang with his feet, and he gets tripped up by Lang, it's a free kick.
100%.
The ref's given a free kick, 100%. So if it's the way around, and the ref will say, "Oh no, it's still the same thing." It's bollocks because goalkeepers a lot of the time get protected. So if it's a free kick that way, it would have been a penalty. It should have been a penalty for us. And then what makes it even more frustrating is the fact that they went down the other end, and then obviously they made it.
Thing is, I called it as soon as they broke away. I went, "They'll score this," and he did.
But
and don't get me wrong. Obviously, yes, we could defend a little bit better. Totally understand that. But if the referee does his job, which then would have meant we didn't have to defend, then we wouldn't have been in the situation we were in, and they wouldn't have scored.
We could argue we should have been 2-0 up, really. You know, we should have got the penalty before they scored their first. And at the time, the crowd were on the players' back. They were starting to moan. They were groaning. I thought Hayden looked out. You know, he was a real unit in the middle. He kept winning the ball back. We thought, fucking hell, like, what a presence to bring on. Like, I forgot how massive he is. And when the second goal went in, the players just were kind of like, oh, like, you know, what can we do? And the same thing happened against Watford. You know, you're just getting ripped off, basically. They're not, as Harry said, they're not 50-50s. They're blatant. And to miss all three is just unforgivable. It really is. That ref should be banned for a few weeks for that performance. It's not good enough.
He'll get put into League 1 or League 2, though, which makes no difference.
He shouldn't even get that. He shouldn't get that.
But the thing is, obviously, like, if he gives the first penalty, Oh yeah, it was 0-0, wasn't it? If he gives the first penalty, it's 1-0. We don't know if he's still got to score the penalty, so we don't know. But then we don't know what happens after that, because obviously if that penalty is given, then a whole different range of circumstances happen after that. But then even if, do you know what? If he gave that second penalty, I would have allowed him that first mistake. I'd have been like, okay, he might know he's done wrong there, so he's corrected it by giving a blatant. I mean, I don't know why I should be forgiving him, because it should be a penalty anyway. But if he gave the second one, which would have made it 1-1, I'd have been like, okay,
I kind of get. I get what you mean. If it was was just that one incident, you'd be annoyed and go, mistakes happen. But to have 3 fouls and not one of them give 3 blatant penalties. Obviously, one was in 2 in one incident, and not one of them is given. That's when it becomes unforgivable. That's when it becomes a joke. That's when the officiating in my opinion, is getting worse. And that's not just on us. I see it in other games as well. It's
100%.
You know, you got and on Pompey Plus, they had Paul Robinson and Andy Orford after the game, and Paul Robinson made the perfect point of, and if you watch it back, when Bishop goes down after the header, all the Blackburn players stop and look at the ref. They literally stop. The player stops the ball. He don't clear off the line. He stops the ball on the line and looks at the ref. They're waiting for a penalty.
Everyone does.
They're that convinced it's a penalty that they literally stop.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just so frustrating, because if just say we didn't play very well at that point of the game, obviously the latter end of the first half, and obviously up until they probably got their second. If we weren't playing well in that particular stint, just say we played like we did against Wycombe, and then we weren't given a penalty, I would be like, do you know what? We weren't given it, but was our performance good enough to even try and get something out of it anyway? But the fact that how we played, and we did a really good away performance up until their second goal, it makes it even more infuriating, because we deserve, for performance. You should be getting more out of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's the slap, and it's the same with Watford. We didn't deserve to lose that, and it's a slap in the face.
No.
The only thing I can take away lately, the change of away performances, is if you take away Wycombe, which was a weakened team, and even Bristol City, which was pretty much a weakened team, our last 3 games where we played full strength, or as much as we can with injuries, was Watford, which we should have got at least a draw, Sunderland, which I thought we should at least got a draw, and last night where we should at least got a draw. We are definitely improving away from home. It just have to hope the time don't run out before we finally click.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I had a couple of tweets with someone about saying that we get stuffed away from home all the time. I was like, well, we have on 3 or 4 occasions, but the other times we've been in it, we should have got 3 points, or we should have got a draw out of these games. But I mean, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you don't get the results, you don't get the results. But there is positive signs every now and again. But we just need to be more consistent.
100%. Harry, anything else you want to say on the game?
Yeah, I know we discussed it last night. I understand where you boys are coming from, where in the lead up to their goals, or the first 2 goals, obviously are penalties. But it's the fact that whether we get the penalties or not, I know you said about the emotion, but to allow them to basically go up the other end within a couple of minutes both times, and have so much space.
Well, the second one's about what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, but to allow them to have that much space and that much time, whether we're pissed off or not, it's not good enough.
Do you think I felt, and there's no thing on Towler, I'm not blaming Towler for anything, and I know why we had to make the sub with Atkinson, because of, he's not fully match fit, but I always find changing your centre backs in a game just changes everything. I know we conceded the first goal with Atkinson on the pitch, but that had nothing to do with that.
We definitely didn't look as solid once he went off, did we?
100%.
And that's the thing. You only usually change your centre backs
when you have to.
if you want to maintain a winning position, or if you're.
Because I can remember going back to under Danny Cowley. Do you remember when we played Plymouth away? And I think it was on Sky, and we brought Clark Robinson on for whatever reason. And we were solid in defence all game. The moment we brought him on, not only wasn't the best player, but it just unsettles. I find centre-back changes, unless you have to, it just disrupts the whole team.
But in this case, this comes under he had to.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. There's no complaint of, on Towler or the decision to take Atkinson off. But it really, we looked so solid with Atkinson and Hayden on the pitch. And as soon as Atkinson went off, it just felt like we lost that presence at the back.
Yeah.
And Pack went from looking decent again in defence to all over the place again in defence.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But I think Pack did look good when he was alongside Atkinson. I thought he looked very good, actually. And especially where we've been, well, not all of us, but people have been worried about Pack playing away from home on bigger pitches as centre-back. And he's played pretty well at home than recently in the games, obviously the games we've won especially. But last night in that first half, and then before Atkinson went off, I thought Pack looked good, and I thought he actually looked
especially that ball he played for what should have been the penalty on Lang.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
That was a fantastic ball, and that's the advantage you get of having him playing deeper and playing as the centre half. Is because he has the ability for that ball or that kind of ball, you get him. He's able to play it. So
yeah, and the thing is, he's a sort of midfielder that would drop that deep anyway to pick the ball up. So the fact that if you can have a centre back like him, he's not a centre back, centre mid, playing those balls from there, it means you've got more players higher up the pitch as well. So you're not bringing out one centre mid to drop deep to play a long ball. You've got a centre back that can do it, and that centre mid that would have dropped short is still there and then can go and help and join in.
Yeah, 100%. Encouraging, take away decisions, encouraging, with Atkinson and Pack, until Paul or Shaughnessy are back. Keep believing that they're getting back sooner.
If and when they come back, which one do you start with? Atkinson?
Paul?
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah, agree.
I don't think you need a Shaughnessy and an Atkinson. I think you need Paul and an Atkinson.
Fuck's sake, Scum are winning.
No. Yeah, they just scored.
Honestly, Man U, I've been watching it while we've been talking. Honestly, Man U are
awful.
It looks like Man U are the team in the relegation zone.
Yeah, it's been all scum.
Yeah, I know.
So Onana made them a brilliant save and then just let that in.
Honestly, United are fucking awful. Sorry, carry on.
What a sad little life.
I think Paul and Atkinson. Well, I'm a big lover of Paul. I've made that very clear.
I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because Paul's ball playing ability is outstanding, and again, if that's what you're using Pack for right now, Paul can do the same thing, but obviously as a natural centre half. But you get more height and aerial and physical presence with Shaughnessy, and Shaughnessy also can drive out of the back four with the ball on the floor. He's really good at doing that, running into the midfield and kind of creating another midfielder as such. So I would hate to be Messino if and when they're both eventually fit, because you could probably play both of them, honestly.
It still makes me sick, and I said this earlier on Twitter to someone replying to my tweet that I put out. It makes me feel sick that we're in the middle of January and we still haven't played our best 11.
No, especially our defence anyway. Our centre back pairings, I just don't think we've had an actual natural centre back pairing. I know we had McIntyre and Paul for a little bit, didn't we? But again, that's they're two centre backs that have played.
You haven't had League One, a Swanson a Paul, an Atkinson, or Shaughnessy, and a Ogilvy back four all season.
No.
And that's just horrendous.
And also, then with Schmid as well, I think now we've got Schmid there. It's just a shame we haven't got the defence as well to back it up.
100%. Anything else about the Blackburn game before we move on?
Only quickly, you wanted to know the XG for Colby Bishop's chance. It was 0.23 XG.
Man, I'll tell you what, that XG
I thought it would have been higher than that. Oh,
I'm not the biggest fan of this XG thing.
Nah, it's stat padding, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw this XG Twitter thing. Tweet something yesterday, and it says from a chance of 0.25 XG, and then you had Ali McCoy saying he should have scored there. They were trying to make out that he shouldn't have scored. It's like I will take the opinion of an ex-professional striker
all day long,
one of the best Scotland centre forwards that's ever existed, and against made-up calculator.
Yeah, I understand why it's there, and it's a kind of, it's not something you should take as gospel. And I think you're right. As if a double European Golden Boot winner can tell you he should be scoring there, you're going to listen, aren't you?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think it's a good metric.
It does help.
It's a metric to kind of guide you. It's not something to take as gospel, but it can give you an idea of should they be doing better here or whatever. And it's sorry, I was just going to say when Ben Close scored that goal versus Tranmere, I think was it Tranmere he scored that against? Yeah. When he scored that, you want to see the XG of that, and it says 0.0005 or something. It's fun to see it for that kind of instance, but to use it a penalty, I think is only 0.5. I think it is, or something like that, or 0.7.
It's 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's not.
But it shouldn't be 50.
No, because
that's 80 or 90% in the attacker's favour.
Well, it probably is 0.7, but the XG thing, it don't wind me up as you say, Harry. It is a good guide, because if it wasn't, then teams wouldn't use it.
No,
professional football clubs use XG. But what I hate is those people on Twitter or TikTok that literally live by it and swear by it, and go on about and you're just no, because XG don't take in occasion, ability of the player. Do you know what I mean? If prime Ronaldo was 30 yards from goal hitting it, I'm sure that XG would be, if you took the player into it, would be a lot higher than if I.
Yeah, but it doesn't take into account the player, does it?
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a good base. It must be, because clubs wouldn't use it otherwise. But I do hate it when people go on about it it's the only thing you should listen to. And it's also what makes me laugh is people go on about ex-players. Sorry, we're really going on a tangent here. They go they talk about people like Ryan Giggs. It was useless at football, overrated because he only got this many goals, this many assists. And it's but back in his day, he was a left mid, not a left winger. His role wasn't to score goals. His role was to kind of create. And in them days, I don't remember anyone giving a shit about who got assists. No one cared.
No, and that's the thing. Again, we're going off a tangent here, but quickly, I was watching a little segment of Lee Trundle, all his goals and stuff like that, and I was thinking to myself, I don't want to sound like a Pompey dad. I'm not a dad, obviously.
Granddad.
You're a granddad.
Back then, yeah, exactly. Yeah, football back then just felt fucking more pure.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't get Lee Trundle.
More characters. You had characters. It felt more fun, to be fair. I think XG and I like stats has its place, 100%. You should always use stats and the eye test and use them together. Running stats, possession, all that's spot on. But XG for me, I can never really get on board with it.
Yeah, and I also hate it when we sign a player and people go, he only got 2 assists last season. And I always bring up, Daz, you'll remember this player, Alexei Smirtin, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you remember how much Pompey fans loved Alexei Smirtin?
Yeah.
Do you know how many goals he scored for Pompey?
Did he score? He scored one.
No,
Did
got
he? Did he
0
score one?
goals. Do you know how many assists he got
Did
for
he?
Pompey?
0
0 assists, and yet everyone loved him.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I mean, like obviously I'm not the only one that calls it this, but like the pre-assist, like a lot of the time, some players are they're the ones that play the killer ball, which allows the assist to happen, and they're just all those passes most of the time are just as important as the assist and the goal.
Yeah,
In my
don't
opinion,
ice hockey do that? Pre-assist.
I don't know.
I'm sure you get an assist for having a pre-assist.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like all those passes are just as important. Like especially if you're a possession team, you want to open teams up. All those passes, like some of the boring ones at the back, is just not worthless. But when you get into that like middle third, final third, all the passes there to open up a team are just as important as the assist and the goal.
Yeah, well, yeah, like one of my favourite assist, not goal, but assist this season was Callum Lang's against Hull when he flicked over the play. He flicked over their head, put it through their legs, and crossed it in. If say he crossed that in and someone else then knocked it to Murphy and Murphy then put it in the net, Lang don't get the assist for that, even though he did the hard work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Anyway, we're getting too far off subject now.
Yeah.
Right. I believe next is the preview of Middlesbrough, and I can't find my list. Who we got next Wednesday? Stoke, isn't it?
Indeed.
Stoke.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, won't be able to go to the Stoke game because my son's training, and if he don't train, he don't play Saturday. And they barely played any football with the weather, so I'll be watching it on the telly. But I will be there for Middlesbrough. Boys, start with you, Daz. What do you reckon?
Well,
what's your predictions?
Well, considering we lost 3-0 last night, it's got to be another 4-0 win.
Got 4-0 written all over it.
I have no idea who that is. What is that?
No Tom slander. He does well. He's very good.
No, I like
quickly on that.
I actually
Tom is so measured and balanced on everything he does. On his YouTube, on all of his Twitter, he's so balanced and remains really calm. And I actually credit him the fact he's able to do that, and he remains really neutral. But even he last night put for the Blackburn goal, he put the assist and then the ref's name. So for Tom to even go like that, you know it's bad.
Yeah. And that's it. I love his stuff. Yeah, because I watched the Blackburn game earlier on today actually on his thing. But he's really good. We should need to hear more from I want to hear more of Andrew's post-match thoughts as well. I don't see enough of his.
I think Andrew. So I've been fortunate enough to meet Tom a few times. I've even done a podcast with Tom once when we were on Three Lads and on the PO forecast as well. So he's a really good lad, and I think Andrew is quite happy to take the step back and give him the limelight.
Yeah, but he's I'm a big fan of Thorny Run Over. Big fan of all the sort of the Pompey sort of social medias and
the second.
Everyone does a really good job. good hearing different opinions. Obviously, there's only one podcast around though. That's number one.
Prediction. What are we doing?
Prediction. We literally go off tangents every 2 seconds. I'm just gonna go for the score. I think as we lost 3-0, I'm gonna go 3-1 Pompey. Callum Lang score.
Who just score?
Callum Lang.
Okay.
Callum Lang.
Has?
So we've lost 4 out of the last 5. The only win is at home against Swansea, but that's also our only home game out of the last 5. Sorry. They've lost 1 out of the last 5. They also lost to Blackburn. Apparently their last game as well.
They're a bit of a weird team at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they're in the playoffs just about, but they dropped points. They drew to Cardiff. They managed to beat Hull, but they drew 3-3 with Wednesday. So And they drew it up, but then
was that the game they were 3-0 up against as well?
Yeah, I think so. So they're kind of even though they're in the playoffs, they're kind of a mixed bag, really. But they've also, weirdly, we've had 4 games away from home. They've had 4 at home in the last 5. So we haven't lost to Middlesbrough. Sorry, we haven't beaten Middlesbrough in the last 5 times we've played them. But it's been a while, I believe. Obviously, I know we played them away last time out. But bizarrely, the last 3 times, sorry, quickly, another tangent. The last 3 times we played them at Middlesbrough, all 3 results have been 2-2. And that was in 2010, 2011, and then 2024. I know that's really odd. I'm actually going to go for a 2-2. I think we'll keep our unbeaten run going at home, but I don't think we'll have enough to beat them. And we're going to go Colby. He's going to get his goal scoring groove back on.
Yeah. I was so happy he scored at the last home game, but we just need someone to bury it away from home, don't we? What did you go for, Des? Sorry.
I went 3-1 and Callum Lang.
So I'm going for a win. I think it's a good time to play him personally. I think there'll be goals in the game. I'm actually going to go a bit rogue here and go 3-2 Pompey. So we're all expecting quite a lot of goals. I thought we all got at least 4, haven't we? So that means 0.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to go for a Murphy goal.
Oh, he's stealing that. Quickly, I know I'll do a little referee watch. So it's Gavin Ward is the referee. Last time he refed us was last season. We were at home. Sorry. No, not even last season. 2 seasons ago. 3-1 win at home to Bristol Rovers. So it's been a while.
Nice.
Oh, was that the Joey Barton Cowley spat game?
Yeah, that was when he snapped Louis Thompson in half on it, and Joey Barton and his assistant were clapping him, parading him for snapping a player's leg. So
yeah, well, of course, yeah, well, that's what he did for a living, wasn't it? So
well, what a prick he is as well, by the way. So sorry, let's not go on to another tangent. Let's go to Stoke. Quickly.
Right, yes, Stoke. So just Harry, back to you. You can get the first dibs on this one.
So they are unbeaten in the last 4. The 5th game ago, they lost to Leeds, which is pretty respectable. They beat Sunderland at home, got a point to Burnley away, but then they beat Sunderland away as well. But then they drew at home to Plymouth, so that's pretty decent, you'd have to say, in the last four games. They're only 4 points ahead of us, so if they hadn't got a few results, they'd be down where we are, really. Keeper's pretty decent. Victor Johansson, he's quite good. Obviously, we don't want a repeat of the 6-1. I'm going to go for a win for this one. I think under the lights in midweek, I think it benefits us. And I'm going to steal Daz's prediction of the Middlesbrough one and go for a 3-1 Pompey win. And we'll go for Sean Raggett reincarnated. We'll go for Atkinson to score.
Nice. Daz?
I would have been more confident. I predict us to win, so I am confident, but I'm not confident. I'm just being positive. Obviously, they've got Mark Robbins there at Stoke now, haven't they? Which I think
that's a massive good thing for them, isn't it?
And Stoke have had this issue where they sort of, it's a bit like with Newcastle in the Premier League, where they just they had this money or they spent this and the other, but they can never get going. They kind of just did nothing, and that's what kind of Stoke have been doing in the Championship for a while. It kind of felt like a bit of a poison chalice because obviously Schumacher, when he was last season, wasn't he? I mean, he's a good young coach, and he couldn't get him going. They've got all this money. Their owners are pretty much richer than God. So they've spent so much money there, but they just haven't been able to get going.
Someone tweeted
if Mark Robbins can't do it.
So someone tweeted about how much money they're losing a week, and they are literally shedding money. like ridiculous amounts. Yeah, it's awful.
Their finances, because it made me laugh. I see someone tweeted about a little while. I think it was just as the window opened, and someone said like, "Oh, you know," and it always makes me laugh. They go, "Look at Stoke with their ambition. They got billionaire owners, and they're spending money." And I almost tweeted them back, going, "Yeah, but have you seen how much they're fucking losing?"
Yeah.
But also,
and
sorry, I was just quick to say they've lost Tom Cannon because he's been recalled back to Leicester. So that's a big thing to play part in. Sorry, Daz, I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, no, because I think there was news about them potentially selling him on. I think was it Sheffield United and someone else was interested in that Tom Cannon. I think they were going to pay like big bucks for him as well. But I mean, Stoke could do the same. To be fair, they've got, as I said, it's the family that own Bet365. I can't remember what the family's name is now, but I think they're Stoke City fans as well. So I think they just plough loads of money in, and I also think they kind of use it as some kind of like tax sort of thing, because obviously I listen to this that football finance podcast with I can't remember what his name is now, but yeah, they sort of say how much money they spend. So I think with Mark Robbins at the helm now, if he can't get them going, then I don't think there's many managers and coaches that can come in and get them going. But I'm still going to be positive because I try to be positive every time, because otherwise I'll cry. I'm going to go Pompey 2-0, and I think Dolby Bishop's going to get one. At least one, anyway.
Okay. I honestly think we've got a good chance of winning both these games. I'm hoping for at least 4 points. No, sorry. I'm hoping for a double win. I'm at least expecting 4 points. I don't know which way the win's going to come, so I'm going to predict wins for both. I think that's just a safer bet to go rather than try and get which right way round. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, and I'm going for who do you both go for? You went Bish, didn't you? Daz, who do you go for? Has
Atkinson.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Atkinson. I'm going to go for fuck it. He's got to bang one in at Fratton end eventually. Matt Ritchie, if he plays, I'm willing to take that risk.
Lovely enough.
Especially limping off yesterday, so
yeah, that's not looking good, is it? Obviously, I know it'll probably be out by the time this goes out. I think we're awaiting a scan tomorrow for Paddy Lane. Left on crutches, could barely walk at half time. He had to be helped off. He couldn't put any weight on his left leg. Yeah, it doesn't look good. He's probably going to be out for a considerable amount of time now. With that, what we do next, Russ? As you're leaving,
we are moving on to kind of transfer roundup. Really, to sort of look at any sort of business being done. I think has Hayden been done since we last met?
Transfer roundup. There you go. There's the intro. To that.
Did he sign last Friday? I want to say so.
Yeah, just before the Wycombe game, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah, I missed it. I was like, oh, hang on a minute, we have signed him. And as I said earlier, I was really impressed when he come on. He just looked like an absolute tank.
in his photos and that, he doesn't look that big, does he? But then when he came on the pitch, it's like, fucking hell, he's a big bastard.
He's and just having him and Atkinson on together, we looked a different team
because it adds height and physicality.
Yeah. And
I think with Hayden, it's because he's got a bit of a long face. Like you think he's going to be a bit more slimmer, but he's not. He's not. I mean, face fat, but he's a unit. Like, do you mean he looks strong? And I think he put in one tackle. I think it was on Cantwell. We left one on. And I was like, I like that.
Yeah. And what I like also is he looks to go forward with all his passes as well. I think he he's a player I've rated for years. Anyway, so the only thing that shocked me, and it's the Jesse Lingard effect, I call it. I can't believe he's 29. I genuinely thought he was like 24.
I can't believe he managed to get a 6-year deal in 2020, though.
He was outstanding. He was.
But Newcastle are renowned for long. I know Chelsea are now, but Newcastle were the first ones. I mean, this was when Mike Ashley was about. They were the first ones to give out long contracts. And I think, especially if you've got a young player and you think he's going to do well, putting him on a big long contract, you can either spread out the payments, so like you get round financial fair play, And also, then if someone else comes in for him, they've got to buy him out of another 3 or 4 years of his contract.
Yeah. He but back 2020, because I can remember it because it was like COVID as well, wasn't it? He just looked like, but I thought then he was like a 20-year-old, but he would have been what, 24?
Yeah.
24, 23.
Yeah, it
So-
definitely seems like he's been around for. Oh, I think he feels like he's been around for ages. But
he looks in really good condition though. Like, do you mean he doesn't? And that's a good sign of like he looks like he's kept himself fit and kept himself in good nick because he looks in good shape. He got around the pitch quite well considering the fact it was his first start since end of last season.
Yeah, no, he excited me. It looks very much we're getting Thomas Waddingham, is it? Apparently he's flown in tonight to seal the deal. Should be signed in the morning, they reckon. It's a weird one because it's kind of like one of them exciting ones because it's not about signing a foreigner. I don't know why. But then when you sort of go, oh yeah, he's for development. But then they also say, but he's also challenging Bishop for a place in the team.
see,
you're kind of like, what's he been brought in for? Is he
Messina,
for the future?
Messina, because when Messina was asked about from Andy Moon, do we need to bring in any more strikers? Messina said no, but he said about the fact that Waddingham was for developmental, which would indicate to me that he's coming in and likely to go out on loan somewhere.
Yeah. In the next breath, he's talking about him challenging Bishop.
I think personally he might be saying that kind of stuff just to take some pressure on him and so that the fan base aren't expecting him to be stopped. But I think a lot of people would because we know we've got Colby Bishop there. But maybe he's trying to take a little bit of sort of pressure off him, and because obviously when don't get me wrong, if he was if that Woodingham lad, if he was playing in the second, I don't know if there is a second division in the Aussie League or anything like that, or if he was playing for the youth sector. But he's actually playing first team in Australia, so you'd expect. I wouldn't see that kind of player coming over and then being happy to then just sort of go out on loan to a League One or League Two team, or just be seen as a development player. I would like to think he's coming in and thinking if he gets given an opportunity, he's going to take it.
Well, right now we need it
because if you think about it, he's got more on him than Mark Mahoney has. Do you know what I mean? It's Mark Mahoney, isn't it?
Omani.
Because Omani, that's it. Because Omani obviously he's majority played is under 23s, where Waddingham has actually been playing men's football. And I know Australian top level football might not be seen as good as Championship or League One level or stuff like that. Maybe I don't know enough about the league over there to really sort of say either way. But it'd be better than an under 23 level over here. So you'd think that he would be in the pecking order in front of the likes of Omani, but I don't know. We'll see, I suppose.
I still think.
Yeah,
go on,
sorry, Harry, you go.
No, you go, mate.
No, I was just going to say the whole thing about do we need a striker? I think if you asked every Pompey fan, the answer is yes. But from their point of view, they're probably thinking, well, we got Bishop, we got Omani coming back, Yengi would be back, you got Sadie, that's 4 strikers. Now you're bringing in Waddingham, that's 5 strikers. Probably from their point of view, unless people move on, no, they're not going to sign another striker.
And the thing is, it's the Harry Kane at Tottenham thing, isn't it? If you want to bring in a player that's top end, just like Colby Bishop is, a lot of these players can see, and if they're not guaranteed they're not going to be playing, which they wouldn't be, because it's not like Bishop gets pushed out many times. A lot of players might not want to come here because they want to be playing, especially a striker. They want to be playing, and so we're not going to spend. I know we're talking about the Islanders need to spend money, which they do need to spend money, but you don't want to spend it on a backup centre forward. You want to put it on someone who's definitely going to come in and hit the ground running and play in a certain position. Now I know Bishop could get injured. Of course he could.
Well, I was a bit worried last night. He came off limping.
Yeah. Well, do you take that gamble when maybe you could spend that money in other places which are definitely needed? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So from a Pompey perspective, whether you think Sadie, Yengi, O'Mahony is good enough, they're not going to sign a sixth striker with one coming in unless Sadie gets moved on, Yengi gets moved. Do you know what I mean? I can understand the Pompey point of view. The worrying thing is the other day we were told that if a bid comes in for Sadie, we'll probably let him go. And then Mousinho's gone, no, that ain't happening. And it's like, no. For me, if someone comes in for Sadie, let him go. He's not good enough.
I don't think I'd sell him, and this is what we've kind of talked about the other day. Was I think he's, and it was the same with Lane. Obviously, I don't think Lane's going anywhere now because of his injury. But he would have been one that I would have loaned out for the second half of the season, and just to see where they are, and then you can look at them again in the summer, because. Especially for Lane, like he got 19 goals and assists in League One last season. The natural place for him to go was the Championship. You can't really do a lot better, and it hasn't worked. There is a player in there, and we know, and I think he could be a Championship player, but it hasn't worked out so far.
For me, I would loan. Obviously, forget the injury. If he wasn't injured. It might not be as bad as first of all. So let's argument say he's fine. Yeah, I would loan Lane out and Sadie out in case we get relegated. If we end up staying up, I would let them go in the summer. I really would.
Even if they go and produce in other loans.
Yeah. That's the thing with Andrew Moon in one of his podcasts made a very good point that you could say we can move on Lane or Sadie, but unless we bring in someone better than them, there's no point in replacing them with like for like, because that doesn't do anything. We need players that are going to be better and make sure that we give ourselves the best possible chance of staying up.
And I mean this in a really nice way with Paddy Lane and Sadie. I don't think it would be that hard to find a Championship player.
I think that's harsh.
That's what I said. I knew it was going to sound harsh. I just don't think either of them are good enough. I don't.
I think, well, as I said to you... Sorry, that's gone.
No, go on, mate. No, go
I
on,
was just going to say, I said to you the other day, didn't I, about Paris Magoma, the guy that was on loan at Bolton last season. He's someone that you could... I know it's another loan, might not necessarily fit people's bill, but that is another good use of the loan market. He's not getting a lot of minutes at Brentford. He's someone that's natural step up is probably going to be the Championship. He can play as the 10, he can cover the wing, and that he is better than Sadie and Lane. So in that case, I know he's only one player and you'd only let go of one, but that is the case of you are replacing with better if you were to get someone like that in on loan.
Well, I saw something about, because there was an article about Paris Magoma, and they're saying that obviously Pompey have lodged interest in him apparently, but it might be the whole Pert Harris incident like last season where I think Magoma's been on the bench for Brentford, and I think he's had a couple of minutes here and there recently. So it might be a case of if Brentford can get a player in, then they might let the player like Magoma go out on loan. Whether that's to us or not, I don't know. But I saw an article about that, and I'd be happy about it because every time I saw him, when I saw him down at Fratton Park against us for Bolton, I thought he ran the show, especially in the first half. He looked very good. Everything came through him. He was energetic, carried the ball really well. Every time he got the ball, he was taking us on, and especially from that centre mid, because he's attacking centre midfield, wasn't he? So the fact that you have someone breaking like that, I think we definitely don't have that in our side at the moment. That would be
he's a bit of a flair player as well, isn't he?
Going back to the Lane Sadie thing, out of the two of them, I think Lane has a better chance of succeeding in the Championship. I just think he needs a bit longer, because I have seen little bits that I think, maybe he can do it here in the Championship. But I think at the moment we need someone that we know can do it week in, week out, and I don't think Lane can do that just yet.
No, yeah, and they're, but I think you both make good points. I'm just like getting.
But you're wrong.
No. You're right. I'm getting to the point.
Go on.
Now where I'm getting a bit cutthroat with everything.
Yeah.
And I think because football is cutthroat, isn't it? You know what I mean? You have to. I'd go look, send them out on loan because they'll be a good League One players next season to help us get out of the league. They've proven that. But if we stay up, I'd be like, look, if we can move Lane on for a decent fee, and bring in someone better when you've got another championship behind you, another championship set of money behind you, it just makes sense to me more than anything. Like, I'm taking away the emotion of I want Lane to succeed because I love Lane because that's my heart talking. Whereas I'm trying to use my head of send him out on loan if he's not injured long term. He's there if you need him next season. If we're in League One, if not, let's sell him, bring someone in better.
Yeah, no, I can get bored with that, and that's the thing. Like last season, you can sometimes
Who the fuck
be
is
a bit
number
more.
20?
He's quick, isn't he?
He's unbelievable. Sorry.
But yeah, we could be a bit more romantic last season because in League One it's a bit more forgiving, where the Championship isn't. So we have to be a bit cutthroat. And I've said on our chats and stuff like that the club have to be cutthroat in these next couple of weeks. They have to spend the money. They have to get the players in. Can't be like, oh, we need to give this person a chance because we just need to get through this last end of this second half of the season. We just need to stay up. That's it. I don't care how we do it. I don't care who we bring in. As long as they're good enough, as long as they're championship quality, then whoever we have to move on, we have to do it. We have to just be absolutely cutthroat.
Look, we were cutthroat in the summer, weren't we? And we dismantled that League One winning side of letting 12 players letting go. We're going to have to do it again, but this time mid-season.
Yeah.
And we discussed.
The things
we discussed last night that these are probably the two most important weeks or crucial weeks of being under the Eisner ownership so far.
Yeah.
Because last season we were top of the league. They went out. Obviously, McIntyre was an experienced Championship / League One player. Obviously, he got injured, but the intent was there. Obviously, I know we took advantage of Reading's financial difficulties. We went out and bought Lang for 500k. Again, helped us get over the line. They kind of backed him. Obviously, got Pet Harrison to just as a body and as a man that could play in many positions. And we need to do the same again. We've got the couple of loans in that help solidify us. Now we need to look to help us in attacking areas, and we certainly need a left back as well. So you're still looking at a minimum as another 3 players. Left back probably has to be a loan because you've got Ogilvie and Farrell under contract beyond this season. So you could probably do with a loan there, but then that's 5 loans again, I think, that could be in your matchday squad already. So
so I put a tweet out earlier, basically saying the Eisners, in my eyes, have got a massive couple of weeks.
Yeah,
they need to back Mousinho and Hughes. If they don't, I honestly think there'll be a massive change in the eyes, how people perceive the Eisners, including myself. I've been really flippy floppy the whole time they've been here. This will make up my mind because, in my opinion, this shows their true intentions. Yeah. And I don't necessarily mean like people take it as like, oh, you expect them to spend 10 million or 20 million. People give me the most dumbest answers. Sorry if you're listening. No, it's not.
He's not sorry. If you're listening, he's not sorry.
It's not about the amount we spend.
No, how we spend it.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
And but at the same, what I mean is like I'm not expecting us to go out and buy a player for 5 million, but I do expect us overall to spend, whether that's on wages or fees or loans or whatever, that sort of region. Because like, don't get me wrong, Isaac Hayden, I know we're not paying the whole 60 grand a week for him, but we will be paying a considerable amount.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that. Do you know what I mean? If we, people are hoping we spend 5 million on a player. Do you know what I mean? People bring up things like we were spending more back in the 80s than we have done now. Do you know what I mean? And I get all that. But as I was saying to someone stupidly replied, basically saying if it weren't for the Islanders, we'd be dead because of COVID. And yet, nobody, not one club died during COVID.
No, I mean you're the likes of Exeter City and Wimbledon, like teams that are still clubs that are still fan owned, and they did well. Like obviously they probably weren't going to hit the heights of or challenging the top end of the leagues and stuff like that at that time, but they still kept going.
Exactly. I mean, but as I said to some people that were disagreeing with what I said, in my opinion, life is a gamble. Football is a gamble. Unless you buy a ticket, people say it's not. Just because you spend this money doesn't mean you're guaranteed to stay up. No, but it does give you a chance. It does.
Yeah, and that's it. It's giving you the best possible chance to stay up. Like I'm not saying like if we went out and got like the standard of Hayden's like player, that still doesn't mean we're going to stay up because there's so many different variables and that sort of stuff that could still send us down. We could have just as many bad refereeing decisions yesterday as we do throughout the whole like season. So you just never know. Like be exaggerating, but that's something that could happen, or we could pick up loads of injuries. It's just the way it is. But if you give yourself opportunity, if we spend decent money on however we spend it, and we still got relegated, I think the majority of Pompey fans would be like, okay, well, had to play catch up. The summer clearly wasn't good enough as a squad building exercise because we've got a good starting 11, one that can really compete, but we can't play the same starting 11 every week. It's not going to happen. But we weren't ruthless enough in the summer to build a championship squad.
I think the issue in the summer is I think we, including us as well as Moyes and Moose and Hughes. I think they kind of we all gave too much credit to the likes of, like, we thought Paddy Lane could do it in the Championship, would do it in the Championship. Ogilvy's flip-flopped. He's looked good, but then he's been awful. He was awful last night, in my opinion, but he's been all right lately. I mean, it's like, I still personally would go and get a left-back anyway, because I still think there's better than him out there. We haven't had Paul and Shotnessy as much as we wanted, especially Shotnessy, who would have thought that? He was supposed to have only missed one game or two. It's middle of January now, and we still haven't seen him.
It's because he's been having fights with Messina, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, they've been, punch each other's heads off, haven't they? You know what I mean? So...
Well, I heard a rumour he slept with someone else's wife.
Jesus.
And I'm not being funny. If that's true, I don't think Messina would give a shit. I wouldn't. I'd be like, can you play Saturday? Yeah. What you fucking
playing? And if he came on and scored goals like he did against Barnsley, I'll be like, sleep with everyone, mate. You crack
exactly.
on.
I don't think his wife with a newborn baby would appreciate that, though.
No, exactly.
I have to say, I don't believe that. Having spoken,
neither do I.
Having spoken to him as well, because I met him in Exploria and spoke to him for a few seconds. He's so down to earth. He's not like a diva-ish kind of player. He's just there in the background, kind of there. It's just bizarre. People making up stupid rumours. It's just, unfortunately, he's injured and then he gets re-injured, and it's just the tale of many injuries. It's like Farrell was the same.
Yeah,
it just happens. But they got to. You're right. You've got to take a gamble, haven't you, with these players?
If he'd fallen out with the manager or slept with a player, and he would have been gone the 1st of January.
Yeah, of course.
And that's it. It's always just like Chinese whispers and that. But going obviously back onto the we love a tangent tonight. Going back onto the transfer thing, we had a very good League One January transfer window, as Has already said, bringing in likes of Callum Lang, that sort of stuff. We need a very good championship transfer window. Like, yeah, it's going to be completely different. There's going to be more money spent, but we need something very similar.
Devil's
at
advocate
championship level.
With the January transfer last year, it's very easy when you're top of the league and everyone wants to come.
No, of course. Yeah, no, of course, and that's the thing. You're going to have to get players that it's going to have to be players like Hayden Atkinson. That's really it. Unless you go out and buy players, because no one's going to loan you like a championship player, one of their players in the championship who's in their starting 11, who's playing every week. Yeah, if we're going to loan, to maybe go to a bottom end Premier League team, or like as we did with Newcastle on that. But again, you're not going to get, if you loan anyone, you're never going to get a player that is playing every week, usually, unless you pay a big loan fee. If you want to go and get a player that plays every week, you have to go and pay for him. And that's it. That's all you can.
Right. Moving back onto the current window. So we signed, since the last we signed Isaac Hayden. It pretty much looks like the Thomas Waddingham deal's done. He's flying in tonight to get it finished tomorrow. Has either of you seen any rumours? I haven't personally.
No, they were flying in last week before, weren't they? Like flying in like matey from Preston and things like that. But now, like,
very quiet.
Which
normally means there's things going on when I find when
you had Ryan Ledson, didn't you, from Preston, and then Cammy Devlin from Hearts, and both of those were quashed from Andrew Moon and from the club. So, but as you said, it's quiet, which normally means there's something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Messino did say he's got some irons in the fire and they're progressing, but I don't know how quick they progress or not. But we're going to have to. I don't think we can wait until the closing of the window.
Right. So, are we ready to move on? Unless anyone's got anything they say on transfers,
let's move on.
Now we're good.
Okay. So next is Has versus Daz. I need a bit of honesty from you both, boys.
Yeah.
Dan Shaw, I don't know if you've seen him on Twitter, did a Pompey 2024 quiz.
I haven't listened to any of that.
Have you?
I have.
Yeah.
I listened to all of it.
Damn it. I was really
I actually kind of did it.
I was really hoping that you had.
I should have lied. See, I'm too honest, man. Good.
Damn it. Okay. I'll tell you what.
Have you got a backup plan?
No, because I already thought you would. Whilst I think of something quickly off the top of my head, we're going to instead move on to Harry's Who Am I? And then let me just go. It might just have to be a general football quiz or something I can find online.
Well, the thing was, because I dip in and out of listening to that. They're called Pompey Sound, aren't they? But then I saw on social media it was like a quiz. They were doing a quiz. I thought I'll listen to that while I'm working.
Yeah,
so that's why.
That's fine. At least you're honest. And I did say I needed honesty. So. Yeah. And I didn't want to ask you both in the chat in case one of you went, "Yeah, I listened to it," and then went and listened to
it. Yeah.
Right. So.
Go on then, Harry. Harry's Who Am I? Whilst I think of something.
Harry's Who Am I? Clue number 1 is I currently play for Rushall Olympic in the non-league, who are based in the borough of Walsall.
Who?
Rushall Olympic. Rushall.
Oh, right. I thought you said Russell. I was like, well, me?
Yeah. Rushall Olympic in the Walsall League. I would probably guess they must live up those parts, because I doubt they're travelling from London to play in that league. What step is that league, by the way? Just wondering.
Absolutely no idea.
Poor. What's the league called?
Again, absolutely no idea. Let me have a quick look.
I've never heard of them.
No, neither have I. But if you sort of understand what league it's in, you could maybe think.
Sixth. Oh, they're in the National League North.
All right, so they're
Are
not
they?
miles down then.
No. That's what I mean. That's a very good standard. So most of the National League North teams, full time as well. A lot of them.
All right, we might as well guess a player.
Yeah,
they're
random.
obviously probably someone a bit older, or at least a player that's just, or maybe even a youngster. Maybe you've gone completely rogue and it's someone who's played like one game. Harry Jewett-White.
He's in
have we had
Ireland,
many
isn't he? He's
Brummies?
at Crusaders.
No idea, mate.
Yeah. Have we had many Brummies? What Brummies have we had play for Pompey? Because Walsall obviously up and around there, so it might be like something like that.
Or at least players who have played for clubs around there.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's bound to be. I bet it's someone who's played for Walsall or Birmingham.
Tom Craddock.
Shout.
Incorrect.
Nah.
Clue number 2. I have played in the following countries: England, Portugal, Netherlands, Greece, and the Czech Republic.
Journeyman.
Jesus. Yeah.
This is a proper journeyman.
But he's in.
Do you want them again?
Yeah.
Can I guess?
So I have played in England, Portugal, Netherlands, Greece, and the Czech Republic.
Can I guess?
You can.
Yeah.
Quincy Wusu-Bay.
Incorrect.
He still be playing?
Yeah, well, mate, yeah, it's fine. He can still, mate. Because don't forget, what did he have on his T-shirt? God is love or something. Yeah. And when you got God on your side, mate, do everything. Yeah.
Ted Lasso, if you know that.
Yeah.
Journeyman. Probably I'd imagine a foreigner. Surely that Bizaki don't play anymore. Panavani, just because we mentioned him the other day, or the other week, I should say.
Incorrect.
No, okay.
Clue number 3. I scored my one and only goal for Portsmouth against Barnet.
I know.
I know.
Is it Milan?
Yeah.
That is correct. Well done.
Do you know what? I was going to say, before you even did that clue, I was thinking Milan Lango.
Well, funny enough, he was in the back of my mind because I remember him playing for Walsall.
Exactly.
For Walsall, so, yeah.
He did.
Did we get who? We didn't get from Walsall, did we?
Yes, we did.
Oh, we did.
Well,
yeah.
We did get from
I thought it might have been Barnsley, but wasn't that before Walsall? Thinking about it.
Yeah, so he played for Den Haag in the Netherlands. He played for Vitória de Guimarães in Portugal. He's played for numerous amounts of Czech teams, which I'm not going to pronounce, apart from, I'll tell you what, Baník Ostrava I will pronounce. A couple of Greek teams.
Bless you.
Makedonikos and Thermaikos. Amazing Greek.
Yep.
And then, he's currently in Rushall Olympic. He's played 6 times so far this season for them.
Fair play. As I said, but a lot of the teams in the National League North, most of them are full-time.
Yes, they are now.
How old is he?
He
30, he must be like 30,
32.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. That's mental.
How long ago are we talking now?
He played for us between 2016 to 2018.
He was like what, 23 then when he came to us, blimey.
Yeah.
God, don't.
He looked like he had so much potential. We just didn't really.
A lot of injuries when he was here, didn't he? Because he then went on loan to Ross County, and then only played 6 times for them. There we go, Milan Laukovic.
Got that one. Boom. That's a good one.
Right. No, I'm happy with that. We both got that at the same time as well.
Yeah.
As soon as you said Barnet, I was like, I know what game you're talking about.
Yeah. It was a 6-1 game. Was it
5-2.
6-1?
5-1.
5-1. That's
Robert
old
scored that mad
Gary.
old turn and flicked it in the top corner. Loved that goal.
I was in the Milton end that day, and that was
Chaplin was on fire that day and all.
He was.
Yeah, good.
What I remember from that game is I can't remember who the Barnet keeper was at the time, but he literally every single goal that went in, he blamed his defence. He kept getting up and have a go at him every single time. I was thinking,
Sounds like me playing goal.
Blame it.
Right, I think I found a quiz.
Lovely.
So the plan was to have 5 each, and then I'll still keep the tiebreaker because it had nothing to do with the quiz that Dan did. So are you both ready? I just need to tell you 6-5 at the moment, Harry.
Yeah, comebacks on.
You can make it cool. So
let's go.
Daz, I've asked Harry the last few times. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to ask you one at a time a question. Best of 5. If you're both on the same score, there will be a tiebreaker. Okay.
Can we steal the answers?
Ooh, I'll leave that up to you two. What would you rather do?
Yeah.
You want to steal?
Go on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right. So Harry,
let's go.
Manchester United famously wear red. Speaking of them at the moment, losing the fucking what colours did they wear before adopting red? And I have to accept the answer that it's given me.
Green and yellow.
Half correct. And as it's half correct, I'm not actually going to let you steal it, Daz. Because
is it green and gold?
Yeah, because to me that's like an obvious answer, and if it's not yellow, it's going to be gold, isn't it? So
that's harsh because the scarves aren't green and yellow then that they use. They're green and gold, are they?
I would have said green and yellow the same, but on here it says green and gold.
That's harsh.
Yeah, that's why I didn't allow you to steal, Daz. All right. Right, Daz. What is the only English football team in the 92 that actually isn't a town or city?
Forest Green Rovers.
Oh, sorry. Or isn't a place. I understand the question. Basically, so like obviously London teams are not a town or a city, but they're a place, aren't they? Basically, it's not a place. Is the question asking.
Forest Green Rovers.
No.
No. That's not a place.
Forest Green aren't in the national. They're in the National League, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, but they probably weren't when this thing was done.
No, I don't know. There's only one answer.
So is it?
That's it.
So you can steal it.
So it's a place, but it's not where the team is. Is that?
Basically, so it's not a place. It's not named after a place, a city, a town, an area, nothing. It's
Port Vale.
Correct.
Bang out of order.
They're not in the 92. They got relegated.
I want to know when this quiz was made.
Now.
But even if it was like, but the thing is, the answer is still correct because they got relegated.
And I had the correct answer for stealing things.
Here come the excuses. He's getting nervous.
Yeah, but that's different because the obvious answer is not green and yellow. It's going to be green and gold.
No.
The obvious answer is if it isn't Forest Green, it's Port Vale, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is.
I didn't know that until I read the question.
Right, I'm going home.
Right, Harry.
Yeah.
Which club is sometimes referred to as FC Hollywood?
Jesus Christ. FC Hollywood. I've no idea, but I'm going to guess this team just because the amount of big players that they signed is Real Madrid.
Incorrect. Dad?
Wrexham?
No.
That's a good shout, that.
Another one I didn't know the answer until I read it, and that is Bayern Munich.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, Andy United, sorry.
It's 1-1.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not there yet.
Oh, you're not? Am I a little bit ahead of you? Am I?
Yeah. I'm there now. It's about time.
Harry? No, Daz, because you
Daz.
stole that. Well, you attempted to steal it, I should say. Which MLS franchise team does David Beckham own?
Inter Miami.
That's
Correct.
the easiest question going, that.
Are you about to? You're going to enjoy the next one.
Same as green and gold, though, isn't it?
The next question is, which club is associated with the Galacticos?
Oh, Real Madrid.
There you go. Stop moaning. Right, Daz.
Yeah.
Oh, this must be a who am I? You ready?
Yeah.
Made my international debut for Brazil in 1993 and scored in the game. I played in 2 World Cup finals, and my career saw me play in Brazil, Italy, Angola, Spain, Greece, and Uzbekistan. I can't remember if that was a lot to take in. So basically, he's a Brazilian who made his debut for them in 1993. He scored on his debut. He's played in 2 World Cup finals, like actual finals. And he's played in Brazil, Italy, Angola, Spain, Greece, and Uzbekistan.
The original Ronaldo?
Incorrect. Has?
Again, absolutely no idea. We'll go Ronaldinho.
Incorrect. It was Rivaldo.
No, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah. No.
Right, so the next question is also another who am I for Harry.
I hope this is just as hard.
I have played in the Conference, League 2, League 1, the Championship, the Premier League, the UEFA Cup, the Champions League, and the World Cup.
Is that all I get, yeah?
Yep.
Jamie Vardy.
Incorrect.
Ooh.
Well, that might be right.
So where's he?
But it says it's not got his name down here, so.
So where's he? What divisions?
Conference all the way up.
Conference all the way up. Oh, the bit that is not Vardy was the UEFA Cup. Premier League, the UEFA Cup, Champions League, World Cup. So it being called no hint, obviously not hinting towards a player, but the UEFA Cup was the key bit there, wasn't it? Because if I said the Europa League, I think you would have been right with Jamie Vardy.
Yeah. So it's a bit of an older school player. Because you said conference, didn't you? Not the National League. So that changed. Now it's still going to be a tough one. I have no idea.
Is that a player?
Joe Hart?
No. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to throw out here. If you guess it, I'll give you the point. He's an ex-Pompey player.
Can we just keep guessing?
I can't think, honestly. No idea. I'm not going to get it.
I'll narrow it down again. He played with us in the Premier League in at least the last 2 seasons.
Michael Brown?
No.
Crouch?
No.
Jamie O'Hara?
No. One more guess.
Are they English?
No. But they're not foreign.
Steve Finnan?
Bang on, who was that?
Darren.
No, it's not a full name.
Who the fuck's Darren?
Who's Darren?
Dazzler.
Well, that's just 2-2. 2 questions left each. Which outfield? I think. We had.
Me,
no, we
yeah.
haven't. We haven't had this one before. Which outfield player appeared in the Champions League? Actually, whose question is it? I'm lost.
Daz.
I think it's me,
Well done for paying attention. Which
1 point.
Which outfield player appeared in 3 Champions League finals in 3 different decades?
3 different decades. Probably guess it's. I'm gonna hazard a guess. Casillas?
Incorrect.
I'm going to stick with the goalkeeper line, but go for Buffon.
Oh shit!
It was Ryan Giggs.
Oh.
99, 08, and I want to say 11.
Jeez.
2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Right, so now you got 2 each, actually, haven't you? Because Harry started.
Yeah.
Messi began his professional career at Barcelona, but what was his schoolboy team?
Newell Old Boys.
Correct.
Fucker.
2.
Do you know why it sticks out? It's because on their badge it spells knob.
Yeah.
I know that's really immature, but
Willie.
Sorry, you just made my son really laugh then.
Sorry, Russ's son.
Ronaldo is synonymous with the number 7, but which other number did he wear at Real Madrid? I'm talking about Cristiano Ronaldo there.
What, he wore number 7 and something else?
When he first went to Real Madrid, Raul was still there. And Raul was number 7, so he didn't have that number.
Oh, shit.
I know this, Daz, as well, by the way.
Oh.
It doesn't matter anyway. I might as well draw. Number, I don't know why, but I think 9.
Correct. Or with 1 left.
Willie!
Jesus Christ. Oh, dear. Grown man just shouting that, but there we are.
Rangers tried to sign.
I didn't say I was mentally a grown man, so.
Sorry, Russ, go on.
So this is Daz's question, Harry's question, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just about to ask a question I read and I thought, if you know that, then I felt that was a really unfair question to ask. You want me to ask it?
Do we like?
United are winning now, just to let you know.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to ask it because it's just the way it went, isn't it?
Amad Diallo is on a one-man mission with them, isn't
he? He certainly is. Rangers tried to sign which superstar after Alice McLeish was alerted to his ability for a popular video football manager game? And when I say superstar, I do mean it's a very well-known player, just to give you, because it is quite a niche question.
Is this a tiebreaker or is this
no,
a...
this is
one each
mine.
left.
Oh, okay.
I've absolutely no idea. Were they already a superstar when he tried to sign them, or were they still like up and coming?
I think it was an up and coming player that probably had potential on the game before he was well known. And as I said, this player is a very well known player.
Jesus Christ, I have absolutely no idea. We'll go Kaka.
Incorrect. Daz?
Did they try to sign or did they sign?
No, they tried.
Robinho?
No.
Robinho?
It was Lionel Messi.
Was it?
Was it?
Jeez.
Right, Daz.
Yeah.
Chance to win it, Daz.
Yeah. Watch out, yeah. The ball's in your court, mate.
It's all right, I'm not bothered anyway. It's just,
Well, I say that. I'm glad I just asked it because this one's quite niche because I wouldn't have a clue to this question. Can you name the former Germany international who went on to become a professional wrestler in WWE?
Oh my god! Oh shit! Because
I know the player, but I didn't know he went to WWE.
This is gonna kill. It's gonna really piss me off because I can see his face.
Do you know it, Harry?
I don't know.
No, you don't know.
So whenever I'll just be guessing a random German man if I get a chance.
I will push you for time, Daz.
I can't think of it. I'm just going to make a name up. Klaus Hardenbach or something.
Correct! No, I'm joking.
Yes!
Yeah, definitely incorrect. Haz, can you? If you can come up with something funny, I might give you a point.
Well, hold on.
I'm only joking.
I don't even know. I'm just going to say Gerd Müller, just for shits and gigs.
No, it was a player called Tim Weiss.
No idea.
Yeah, I've heard of the player, but never would have got out in a million.
Yeah.
The both last questions were both equally stupid, and it didn't matter in the end. Right, 3-3, tiebreaker.
What are we going to do? Call our name out for it?
So the quiz originally was going to be, to just shout your answer out. So it was all about 2024 and all to do with Pompey.
Yeah.
So my tiebreaker question is, how many home wins has Pompey got in 2024?
2024. Oh, right.
No, from 1st of January 2024 to the 31st of December. How many home wins did Pompey get in 20? Oh my God, what the fuck is Scum doing? Jesus Christ.
What are you doing? Closest wins?
Closest wins? Yeah. I hope you're both not too close, and then I have to think of someone else.
He's got hat trick. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
So 3-1.
Yeah.
Go on, Wiz. Go on, Harry. You go first if you want.
No, he's opened the floor.
Just wait while Harry Googles it quick.
I'm not Googling, you daft bastard. I'll go 9.
Okay. Daz?
Oh, no, it's definitely go higher than that. 12.
Oh, bang on, Daz. 12. Correct.
Is it?
I'm bothered. I wasn't bothered anyway, so it's fine.
Bloody hell.
So, Daz, you've opened the gap up again a little bit. It's now 7-5 to Daz.
Just teasing, and then just go take it away. That's what I'm going to do.
Teasing and taking it away.
Right. Any other business?
Nothing.
Other than that, this is the longest podcast we've ever done because it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Didn't realise
I actually had a lot to bring up, but I'm not going to now.
Save it.
Bedtime.
I had loads I wanted to talk about, but it's gone on longer than I thought.
Yeah.
So let's dying of needs. Should we all go to bed?
Let's go to bed. I'm off
only if Andy Moon said we can go to bed.
Oh yeah, that's the point. She'll just quickly tweet him. Can we go to bed? Right then. Thank you very much.
All right, boys.
What did you say?
I said, all right, boys.
He's off. He's gone.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Those who listen live, we'll appreciate it as always. Just hopefully next time we meet, boys, we, as I said, at least got them 4 points, which I think would be a good return. So next week, 8 o'clock on a Thursday, as always.